The Magpies, didn't they turn it on? Both sides, of course, the West Coast Eagles and the Pies, below strength. And Elliot Yeo and Jake Waterman certainly proved to be big omissions as far as West Coast were concerned, both in the middle of the ground where they got pumped and up forward. But Collingwood, a devastating 7-goal second term. And it was some exciting football. Young Joey Richards showed plenty too, as well as various teams over the weekend unveiled some good players. And still side-bet him for the first time in his life, apparently, back across half-back. So I didn't mind that move as well.
Yeah, the injuries forced Craig McRae to mix it up, play some kids and play some players in different positions, and it worked wonders today. Everything turned to goal. You're right about Joey Richards, the youngster from Wangaratta, had 3 goal assists and 3 shots at goal and was in everything, and a few of the others, Finn McRae, got on the scoreboard. But again, King, it was the clearance work of Collingwood that has been off the charts. We did it last Sunday night on First Crack, Collingwood's ability to punish coming out the front of stoppage. They did it against Carlton and it was potent, and again from centre bounce. I mean, at half-time, they had 7 goals too from centre bounce. Now, the record, I got told, was 9 goals. That was the game, the famous game down at Kardinia Park all those years ago when Geelong beat Melbourne by about 200 points. 7 goals too at half-time. They weren't able to capitalise with any more in the second half, but just see him coming out the front, charging full steam ahead. The small forward line really worked. They all got in on the act. Finn McRae playing at half forward. There's young Joe Richards, his first goal. McInnes was able to get on board. Bobby Hill was dangerous. So, despite all the injuries for Collingwood, they played some of their best footy. It was awesome to watch.
And it was just the buzz too, the excitement that we saw. It was really, it was palpable being at the ground to see. And again, they're only playing West Coast, but wow, Collingwood are going to take some stopping once again, I reckon.
Probably the hardest thing to change from the coach's box, I reckon.
Yeah.
The centre bounce results, because they're random events in a lot of ways, but that's a smashing. You just don't see that at all. So you feel for the opposition coach's box, but what an asset to have when you've got those dancers in the middle. And I guess it takes you to the man that I want to talk about. We show most weeks, but
back to Nick. We haven't had Nick for a few weeks.
He's back, baby.
So Harley Reid,
Hey, Brownlow watch is back on. Just have a look at what he does at clearances. And I want to get to some numbers in a minute. But no one in the competition is doing what he's doing at clearance. No one. So let's just appreciate that this is more than just a happy knack of finding the footy in the right spots at the right time. This is a pattern. It's not just an event. So have a look at what he's been able to do. When he wins clearances across the competition the last month of football, his clearances have created 15 scores. He's only had 21 effective clearances. Pitnet's been in about 200 ruck contests. Bontempelli's about the same as Nick. So he's had 10 scores. So for Nick to have 50% more than Marcus Bontempelli in the same time frame is unbelievable. So you've got to recognise the brilliance of this guy. He looks to me like a stronger version of last year. Looks like he's put on a little bit of size across the shoulders and in the arms, and he's coping better with contact. Look at that today. They scored 3 goals from his 7 clearances. So this just could be a one-man war in the middle. Now, that enables a lot of things. You force the opposition to bring a number up to stoppage, you get the luxury of a loose man. So this will have a trailing effect, if you like, a domino effect on how they play. They're already in good rhythm, in good form. And I'm just saying, just watch out. So this guy is doing things that are hard to clamp, hard to tag a player who can do that. Those handballs he does, taking the game from inside to out. But this is something that needs to be recognised.
I don't want to steal the limelight, but Jack Crisp back in form too the last 2 weeks, playing as almost a permanent mid. They only won 36 clearances. They scored 16 times from 36 clearances. It was a phenomenal strike rate, 71 points from stoppage, the most of any team this season.
And Josh found some form late in the game as well. So what does it mean? I mean, given who they were playing? They haven't lost since March 21.
Again, it's not who you play, it's how they're playing now. They've found their best football. The forward half pressure game, the turnover game, their potency from clearance.
Got some injuries.
Yeah, they do. That's the pride and some more.
That's the thing you just got to put on the table. It's a health battle now. There's this at the end of the season. If the competition is as even as what we're saying, that you're managing your list and a little bit of luck along the way is imperative.
So challenge is inevitable and change is inevitable. To Goey and Mitchell go out of your midfield and Crisp and Daicos go back in there full time with Pendles, and it looks like it, and Lockie Sullivan, it looks like you could have even found something better again. And then you got a guy like Joe Richards who comes in, 24-year-old who's honed his craft through the development program and in suburban footy, and then comes in and plays a game like this. It must be. Your chest must swell to know that you're part of a program, a group that can give a guy like this the opportunity and that he stands up.
100%, 100%. And you use the word then, opportunity, and that's the one thing coming out of the game on the weekend that I'm just so stoked about as a captain, because for pretty much all of last year, we had the least changes made of any team over the year. We were pretty blessed with injuries, pretty blessed with form. we weren't making changes every week. So guys like Joe Richards, guys like Finn McRae, guys like Harvey Harrison, who are playing great footy in the VFL and studying our system really well, they know their stuff. We just can't give them opportunity, can't regularly give them opportunity. So to see, like you said, some names like Degoe and Mitchell out of the team and these guys step up and get your opportunity, it's really pleasing. And that's sort of, in many ways, the mark of our program and our leadership. Young guys can come in and play to their strengths and show everyone what they're good at. So it's always a real thrill. And I think when you get through, you know what it's like, when you get through those periods of the season where a few injuries, things don't go your way, you always learn something at the end of it. So if we feel like over the next 3 or 4 weeks, we're going to learn something about our team and what our best mix is that we don't know right now, and that's kind of an exciting thing for us.
A great thing would have been, I think one of the younger players, as Boitel mentioned last week, just how much fun the environment is for players. He couldn't believe, actually. So are you a guardian of that? Do you consciously think about it? Do you try and promote that? Is that was part of your turnaround? You look like you're obviously having a bit more fun and having a few more laughs. Obviously, winning games helps that. But is that something you consciously work on the leadership group?
100%, yeah. I mean, Fly's pretty big on it. I think he says it pretty much before every single game, that to remember that footy should be fun and that when we go out there, we should be enjoying it. And, yeah, I think that just really drips through the group. Like the senior guys, we want the environment to be light. We want it to be a really good learning environment, first and foremost. So under pressure when you're out there, you need the guys to really know what they're doing and make the right decisions. And the only way you do that is by having an environment where when you're coaching, that it's two-way, they're learning and they're really absorbing that information so that when we're under pressure, we can all execute out there. And I think making the environment light and fun and guys expressing themselves is a big part of that.
Webber's still not telling jokes, is he?
Unfortunately, he's making about
Shockers.
10 puns a week, and they're shocking.
None of them.
Hey, tell us about whether you feel any pressure or obligation to be the voice of, the AFL, the voice of reason. Like you've been lauded, rightfully so, for your capacity to sense a moment, Anzac Day last year, and since then, on multiple occasions. And it presses the hell out of everyone because maybe they have a low bar for us footballers, past and present. But for you to be, to speak in the manner that you did and touch, so many people along the way, do you feel any pressure? Does it come naturally? Is it something that sits comfortably with you? I'm interested.
Yeah, I wouldn't say I feel pressure. I think, it's definitely something that's come my way, particularly in my leadership role over the last couple of years. I think it just comes pretty naturally to me, to be honest. I've been following the game since I was a little kid, so I understand what it means to be a fan and to really worship leaders and people in the league and the guys who are performing well. Like I know how powerful that force can be and how much of an influence players can have over the community and how passionate the fans are. And I care about the game. So a lot of the issues that you're speaking about that I've spoken out about are things for me that are about making our game better. And I think about the future of our game and just want to make it the best game in the country.
What do you say to people who say that the AFL should administer the game of football and leave the other social stuff to different? They shouldn't have a voice, and the players should play. I'm saying just talking in broad terms. What do you say to that?
Yeah, I think there's certainly a line, like you're saying. Most people, that espouse that view would appreciate that there's a line. But at the end of the day, like I said, it's about the future of the game and wanting the game to be the most inclusive and safest place possible to let talented people come in and contribute. So look at the last 7-8 years, what we've seen with the AFLW program and the floodgates that have opened with fans coming in, new fans coming in that 10 years ago we probably wouldn't have imagined would have felt safe and included in our game. So I think that's just one example of many where if we have a pretty optimistic vision about our game, it's about growing it at the end of the day and about making it a place for everyone.
You travelled the father-son journey. I think you stand on your own 2 feet as every individual does, but you're witnessing another guy go about it. Josh probably forged the way for him, but Nick, you talk about enjoyment of football. You must, at training, in preparation and then on the field, you must look at him doing what he does and see that and bleed that enjoyment that bleeds out of him sort of comes to you as well.
Yeah, 100%. He really it just emanates out of him that he absolutely loves the game. He just studies it so hard during the week and his training standards are incredible, and the things that he dishes up on the training track are pretty amazing. And when
Can you smell the roses? Is he a smell the roses guy? Is he maintaining
He
balance?
definitely is. Yeah, he definitely is. He's not super hard-headed and ambitious in a way that sort of becomes a bit of a black hole. He definitely brings the best out in guys around him. And I even find it, like I'm the captain, and when I get caught in his orbit when he plays in defence, you know, you can't help but push hard during the week. He's just so relentless and ruthless, and I think what we've seen when he's gone back in the midfield over the last few weeks is a new hard edge, particularly defensively, which has just been unbelievable.
Yeah, that's been underrated for throughout his early stages of his career. What about when he and the GOAT get side by side and Pendles and Daicos or Nick start waxing the ball?
Yeah, it's pretty special, isn't it? You definitely feel. I mean, I'm normally 70 metres behind them, so I get to sort of sit back for that moment and enjoy it. But you do feel like a little bit of a fan in that moment. You feel like, that you can really feel from the stands. The fans really love it and are getting a bit of a kick out of it, and it's pretty cool to see the master and the apprentice going about it.